Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Comedian Rob Schneider cracks up the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia on May 27th. He joined me to preview the stand-up gig, express his pride for daughter Elle King, and share hilarious memories of SNL, The Waterboy, Big Daddy, and his recent tribute to Adam Sandler at the Kennedy Center. Hey, Rob Schneider. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in DC.
You sound just like the South Park episode. Rob Schneider is
a stapler.
Rob Schneider is a carrot because sometimes being a carrot. That was so funny. Oh my God. I love those guys, by the way.
Oh, the South Park guys?
Made fun of. So tell me, where are you?
We're in Washington, D.C., talking because you're coming to the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia, which is a little, but it's on the border of what we call the DMV, but it's fine. It's all our listening area. So it'll be May 27th, and you're calling it the I Have Issues Tour. So what sort of issues you working out here, man?
All of them. Actually, I'm changing the tour name to We're Not All in This Together.
Oh, officially changing it.
We're not all in this together. We're not, because when I moved a couple of years ago, I didn't see any of you guys come and help me move my couch. I had to hire people. We're not all in this together.
If we all moved it together, the couch we could have moved it easily if we all pitched in, but oh well.
I think so. Absolutely. No, but I'm looking for, the crowds have been really great, and they want to hear what you think of the world because they just feel like everything's filtered for them. Nobody's really saying what people are scared. So I think stand-up comedy is having, I wouldn't say resurgence, but it's having a real boom again. And it's fun to go out and just laugh and just hear people say what you think, but you can't say on Facebook anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. The comedy setting allows you certain leeway to tackle certain issues because, it's all under the comedy umbrella. So you're good to go.
Yeah, you would think you'd be good to go, but still people get angry and stuff. But yeah, you would think you'd be good to go. But
let's say you should be good to go, but I'm not always.
You should be good to go. Yeah.
Well, it'll be a good time out in West Virginia. But in terms of, here in DC, you were just here recently at the Kennedy Center for Adam Sandler's Mark Twain Prize. One of the highlights of the night, if you ask me, singing that wedding singer spoof of Growing Old with You. What was your line? I was making copies when the Cajun man arrived. It's been quite an inspiration.
That's right.
Great job. Well, how did you decide to
do a song? We all love the guy. I don't know how to, everybody was going to go for laughs and everything, and I wanted to go for the heart. I wanted to we all love him, and everybody was dancing around it. But I just wanted to it's so nice to be able to honor somebody in their lifetime when they're still at the height of their career. And it was it was a unique experience. Trust me, I didn't want to do it because CNN. I knew no one was going to watch it because it's only played at airports, CNN, but I did it anyway. But I did it to honor my friend. And yeah, it was nice to just be out there with people who love Adam and have a good time. And I'm shocked he let us do it. And it's there is no, the Academy Awards, they don't recognize comedy. So, but Mark Twain Award is the only award we really have for comedians in America.
That is kind of sad because, the Oscars, in hindsight that, they'll give life achievement awards to the Chaplins and the Groucho Marxes and all that. But where are they giving the actual awards, when they're in their heyday?
I know when they're, also it's like they always give Charlie Chaplin. He's like on his last breath. And they go, all right, we better give it to him before he dies. And maybe it'll get more people to watch. But they're losing, very few people watch it anymore. And it just really doesn't connect with people as the best picture anymore. It just seems to be so polluted with ideology, Hollywood, that it just turns people off, including me.
Yeah, I gotta clarify something. He did win an Oscar. We're talking Chaplin. He won his honorary award in '72, and then they also gave him one for a musical score he wrote for a movie called Limelight. But as an actor,
Limelight,
they never gave him.
Limelight was one of the greatest movies ever made. Why wouldn't they give it to him for an actor?
Modern Times or City
Lights. City Lights, yeah. It's just because it's an elitist art form. I remember my buddy Peter Riegert, who was in Animal House. He played Boone in Animal House, and great guy. And he said to me, "You do realize that you've decided to make your living in the most elitist art form that exists." I'm like, I said, "I guess you're right."
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I know there's like always a few exceptions here and there. I think like Mel Brooks might have won for the producers or something like that. But on
No,
the
he won. He
whole,
won for best screenplay, but they don't
right.
give like best picture.
And
You know,
they don't do for actors. Didn't Will Ferrell and John
no,
C. Riley and was it Jack Black? They did that great thing at the Oscars where they said, no comedians at the Oscars. And it's so true. It rang so true. Well, we've
I
talked
haven't watched in years.
Yeah, well, we talked a lot about the legends, but I want to know like the comedians that you did admire growing up. You were born in San Francisco back, in the early
Well,
'60s. So like
stand
who?
up was like such an exciting thing and such an exciting time for me. Well, Richard Pryor, I mean, Mel Brooks, I never laughed so hard watching something as I did Mel Brooks Blazing Saddles.
Oh, it's hilarious.
And then seeing Richard Pryor, pop up in the back seat of the car in Silver Streak with Gene Wilder. They
Yeah.
were amazing together.
Pryor co-wrote Blazing Saddles with Brooks.
He was one of the writers on it. Truthfully, he wasn't
Yeah.
the writer. He wrote some of the stuff that was like, the guy who's like, "I'm Aldo," or whatever his name was, who punched the horse out.
Yeah, yeah,
His
yeah.
stuff. He was responsible for that, believe it or not. So, but he stuck around for a couple of weeks, hoping to get the role, and they gave it to Cleavon Little because Warner Brothers was too, well, they were too worried about the volatility of Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
And yeah, because he was dangerous. And he was like, they wanted a guy who wasn't. And Cleavon Little was amazing at it. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, Richard Pryor was born to play that role.
My favorite line is Gene Wilder when his hands start shaking. Yeah, he goes, "Steady as a rock." Yeah, but I shoot with this hand, and his hands all waving.
I
And man,
know.
Mel Brooks did Young Frankenstein the same year as
Well,
Blazing Saddles. That's insane to me.
well, it came
Um,
out the same year, but they worked on that, and that was like a tremendous accomplishment. They wrote that together with Gene Wilder. John Landis, the great director, told me something I didn't realize about Young Frankenstein was that was scene for scene taken from The Bride of Frankenstein,
right.
and they just made so they had a really good structure that they knew worked dramatically, and they just made comedy. They just rewrote the scenes, and made them funny, and that's genius. A lot of times when we're making a comedy, you have to have that dramatic structure for a chance for it to work, and he really kind of nailed on that and did it and really nailed it.
Oh, absolutely. Abby Normal and Set a Give. It's
And
so
how about a
good.
guy like the guy who played Renfield, not Renfield, what was his name?
Igor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Igor. What was his name?
Got Marty Feldman.
Marty Feldman. Yeah,
Yep.
Marty Feldman. He didn't think he was an actor or didn't blah blah blah. When he was originally in the show called, I think, the 1948 show with John Cleese back in the 60s in England. He said he didn't think he was a performer. And it's like, my God, just look at him and laugh.
Wasn't his hunch walk that inspired the Aerosmith song Walk This Way? That's where they got it from. They were watching it. When he
Oh
goes,
wow,
"Walk
I
this
never knew
way."
that.
No, walk this way, and they're hobbling along. Well, that's
Yeah,
great.
that's
Hey,
brilliant.
silly as
Silly is king, man.
I could talk old movies with you forever, but I want to give our listeners a little bit about your career. What was your big break? Was it the Dennis Miller hosted HBO Young Comedian special thing?
It was a few little things to get to, and then Saturday Night Live. I guess that's when people got to know me, and then I got to make some movies, and it's been fun. But I've returned to stand up. It's where I started, and I've kind of really, I mean, I've done it for the last 10 years because that's how long it takes to get good again.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that it is quite a great time to do stand up comedy because people really come to see the show to see whether they know me or ever know that I've done stand up or that's where I originally started in my career. Is that it's fun to like hear somebody in a room make you really laugh hard for an hour, and that is a real gift. And it is to be able to be in that position, to make people laugh, and you got to work at it though. I mean, if I take a week off, I feel rusty. So I mean, it really is the dedication of you're saying like the culmination of 1,000 shows when you see a comedian who's doing it all the time, and if they're really good, like you're going to have probably the best entertainment value you can get if you go see like a Bill Burr, Sam Morrell, of course, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, and these guys who are at the top of their profession now, you really get to, and I'm sorry, even Louis C.K., let's not cut him out. These guys are tremendous entertainers, and they're thinkers, and they, I think what people go to see comedy for makes sense of the world for them.
Well, you mentioned Saturday Night Live. My listeners will kill me. At least we don't get at least a couple memories of that. So we remember Bellissima at the restaurant, and You Like It a Juice, the gyros, hubs.
Yeah.
The Richmeister, Rob Schneidmeister, Schneiderino. Rob,
Oh yeah, you do that good.
Those are the ones everyone probably comes up on the street. Do you have a favorite sketch, either those or ones that people don't usually mention to you?
I like the guy who put their weed in there because that was more obscure. When people come up to me, that makes me feel happy. Because it's like I went into this antiquities, African antiquities store, like, where they have like these old drums and shields and spears and different artifacts. Yeah. So I went in there and everything looked like it was what my older brother would use to hide his weed in there. And I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, where does the weed go in here?" And she just looked at me like I was an idiot, but I knew I had something. With a terrific writer named Lou Morton, we wrote this sketch, and it was like I was a guy, a hippie that's running one of these African antiquity stores. What is that? Oh, this is a Senegalese lute. It's carved from deerwood. It's used for fertility rituals. They make one every 7 years. Yeah, what do I do with it? You put your weed in there, And then he just said that over and over again.
I love it. Yeah. That cast, Sandler and Chris Farley, rest in peace, and David Spade and Chris Rock and Mike Myers, it was just stacked. That's what I grew up on, and to me, it'll never be topped. That was, and God, we didn't even mention Dana Carvey. There's so many.
Phil Hartman.
There's so many.
That was the best cast we ever had. That show ever had.
And talk about pivoting out of that. I mean, that's where you meet Sandler, and then getting to do all those movies. We remember, You Can Do It from The Waterboy. Memories of The Waterboy really fast. I mean, that was like a breakout big screen moment for you, and you were in almost.
I didn't think so at the time. I just thought it was he had me come in and do this line and use it, like had me do it in 15 different scenes. I didn't know it was going to turn into anything, to be honest with you. I just wanted to go out there and. Because he asked me to, he's such a great dude, and I said, I'll come out there. I didn't truthfully understand what he was wanting to do. The guy who thought of it was Tim Hurley, and Hurley's an awesome dude. And so I said, yeah. I said, what does it mean? He said, just say it and it'll be fine.
So was the delivery was that your delivery, or is that a Hurley, like the how you pronounced it?
Oh no, they just had me. You just commit to it. Yeah. When you get a line, you commit to it and find your way. See, you can make anything funny if you have to find the craziness in it all,
How about Hip Hop Anonymous in Big Daddy?
That was Adams all the way. He knew that character was working and that we needed like another funny little thing in the montage. He's just a genius. He knows how to make a movie and to space it out. And he's got the best handle on like this. Some guys will have a handle on. To make a movie, you have to have the small picture, the medium-sized picture, and the big picture in your head, right? Yeah. The small picture is like these jokes, the lines and the characters and this blah blah. The medium-sized picture is how does it all work together, and then the scenes and the order and the pacing, But also like how to sell the movie, what the movie should be about, what is it saying, what's the idea to get to the audience, and then who the best people to bring into that's the big picture. Now, some people are good at the small picture, like me. Some people are good at the medium picture. I think I'm pretty good at that. But the big picture, Adam had all three. He was able to know how to make the jokes, how to make the scenes, how to put it all together, who to get. And how it would work and the pacing of it, which is critical in comedy, not be precious about anything. He'll cut people out if it doesn't work. And sorry, it just didn't work. He's not going to worry about feelings he's going to worry about the audience's experience and the best one he can make for them per picture, and it doesn't always work, but I mean, he's got that down. I mean, he really does. And he's created some wonderful generational movies that people and who grew up with that now can watch with their kids, and that's I don't know if that's ever happened and for such a long period as Adams had. It was just incredible, his run, and he's such a special human being and a special actor, and he just, you know, there's Adam Sandler Day at schools where they dress up like the character. I mean, no one else does that. I've never heard that before. It's a beautiful honor to have.
I guess at schools, Billy Madison's probably the go-to. Everyone goes and you pee your pants. You're cool for a day once a year.
Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, The Water Boy, they equally. No, they all do, man.
Oh, they're
It's
hilarious.
all pretty remarkable. That's why when he was performing live, it was super special to be a part of that because it was a stadium. He performs for stadiums.
Yeah,
That was really special, and
absolutely.
I mean, that was something that I'll never forget.
Oh yeah, and you'll show up in if you look at an Adam Sandler movie, most likely you're in the background with Mr. Deeds or 51st Dates, any of them, all of them, Longest
A
Yard, all of
lot
them.
of them, I mean, a couple of them, I just showed up to say hi, and then they just put me in it because I was there.
Hey, get
I
in
swear
there.
to God. And Mr. Deeds and in the Longest Yard, I just showed up to say hi. And the next thing I know, he's like, "Come on, get in the Mexican gang." And of course, I did it, you know, because I'm a whore. I did it, and it's
Yeah.
fun, you know. It's nice. I mean, he's been such an instrumental. I mean, all I ever wanted to do was make movies, and just be a character actor. That's
Yeah.
all. I never had plans to be a movie star or anything like that. I just wanted to make a living as you know, being a comedian or whatever. And so I had to play characters like, you know, when I was a kid, there was this movie. Um, it was. I'm going to make some coffee if you don't mind.
Go
I'm
for
gonna.
it.
There was a movie called
I hope that's coffee I'm hearing.
Casablanca.
It sounds like a trickle of another kind.
No, you'll hear the boiling in a second. So the you'll hear it boiling or flushing in a second.
All right, sure.
And then every character in that movie, Casablanca, you know, Peter Lorre.
Mm.
No, Rick, I need the papers of transit. Rick, I need them. I talk to the fat man.
Yeah.
And then Peter, you know, and then does Peter Lorre, and then Humphrey Bogart. I'd listen to him, and he could figure out the cadence and the way he talked. You know,
Yeah.
I watched old movies, and Edward G. Robinson. See, man, I talk like this. See, man, why not? So you come up with. I mean, I lived those guys, and so Adam has provided a platform where I can come up with characters and do stuff, and just trusted me. Because sometimes I go, I don't know how I'm going to do that. And he says, "You'll do it. You'll figure it out."
Yeah.
And I would. And then, like, I'm very proud of that movie, The Zohan. That character is probably the best character I've ever done. In The Zohan, playing a Palestinian guy. And I didn't get any complaints from people because I did it really well. And you can't even tell it's me. And I studied for months on that to do that right.
Oh,
And
so many great, supporting roles and character actor bit stuff.
yeah,
But
I mean, that's the
I
fun
have to
thing
ask you.
about it. You know?
I was gonna say I have to ask you about when you finally get to become the leading man. Happy Madison Productions, their very first film, I believe they produced
That was
was
Adam's idea, not
Deuce
mine.
Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
I was happy just being a small bit player, you know. But he just said, write a movie. And I said, about what? And he said, just find something. So I went home and I, when Adam says, write something, I go, okay, I'll try my best, you know. And then he said, what do you got? And I said, I don't have anything. He said, I don't know. So I said, well, find something. So I said, all right. So I started watching TV, and American Gigolo was on with Peter. I'm sorry, what's his name? Richard Gere.
Richard Gere.
And I was like, I mean, if and I went like, what, this handsome guy, he doesn't, and he's with these beautiful women. They don't need gigolos. This is ridiculous. So I thought this is already a comedy. So I just said, well, what if who are women that really need gigolos? And I said, if I played some loser guy who cleaned fish tanks, and I said, and he, was cleaning the fish tank of a gigolo and then had to take over for him for some reason, I said, we might have a movie. So I did that, and Adam read it, and I was on a plane with him, and he was laughing so hard. I mean, he was dying laughing, and I just kept watching him as he's laughing. He said, how come nobody writes scripts like this for me? And then we were in Hawaii, and he said, and I said, well, he said, no, finish this thing, we'll make it. So I said, well, I'm leaving. I'm going to go back home, finish it. And he said, no. Just stay here. because he likes to have his friends around. You know that about him.
Yeah.
And he said, just stay here and finish it. I mean, stay here and let's have fun for a week, and then when you go back, you finish it, and then I'll produce it. And he'd never produced anything for anybody else before. So that was a first, and that was so nice. And also, he enjoyed the process of it and enjoyed seeing me be a lunatic in a movie. So
We've
we'll see.
all
I mean,
we've all enjoyed you being a lunatic in a movie, and that one's, you proved you could be a leading man. It sort of opened to all those high concept comedies like The Animal, where you get animal powers, or my wife's personal favorite. She said you better ask him about The Hot Chick, where you switch into the woman's body. Memories of The Hot Chick. Just so my wife is pleased that I asked you about it.
well, I made that movie for one line in the movie for my daughter who was 13 at the time. I said, you're beautiful. You don't need boys to make you think you're special or beautiful, because you're enough. And that was for my daughter Elle.
Yeah.
And the movie kind of was the brainchild of a terrific writer named Tom Brady, lovely man. And we wrote it together and in 8 days. And we were laughing our tails off. And then the guys who really make things better are the guys who you take a good idea and then you give it to these guys named Matt Selman, Dan Graney, Mike Reese, Lou Morton. And these are guys who wrote for The Simpsons, and I still think they're still there, and most of them. Ian Maxtone Graham. These are people who make you look like a genius because they're so funny, such brilliant writers, and it just gives me more stuff to play. And they had so many funny ideas, and it really was the honor of my life to be able to perform jokes that these guys had written for me. And yeah, and it's beautiful. Just the line, you think you're so cool because you could pee with your penis. I mean, that would never be said in any other context in any other movie, except mine, for good reason.
Oh, I love it.
It's been a I mean, that one holds up. I would say, like, if I had one movie to put into, if there's space for one of my movies on one of Elon Musk's ships,
like a time
Mars,
capsule, yeah,
for their colony over there, I would say we'll take the Hot Chick.
Yeah, they'll imagine what they'll think of us Earthlings watching the Hot Chick.
No. The mission to Mars, when they send people over there, they're going to need videos. It's going to take a year to get there.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Well, sort of as we close out, you mentioned your daughter, Elle King, of course. Let's sort of end there. X's and O's was a huge hit, and now she's gone on and is doing great in her music career. But when did you first hear X's and O's? Is there like a moment where she's like, "Hey, Dad, check this out. This is going to be huge," and you get the inside sneak peek at it, or when did you know she was going to blow up?
I was there with the producer and her when they played it, and I said, like, there's nothing like this out there. It's like country. It's like Roy Orbison. It's like it's got a meanness to it. It's like Elvis, and there's nothing like it. And it became a worldwide smash, and still get played everywhere. No, she hasn't gotten to the top of her. She hasn't gotten to like that Taylor Swift kind of level, but I think she's going to get to the playing like arenas and stadiums because she's that good. And it takes years to do it, and she's building her way to do it. Oh, and she is phenomenally talented.
She is
I'm so proud of her.
Just getting started.
Does
she have a favorite movie of yours watching growing up? Was it like Home Alone 2? The bellhop?
Well, she was the Girl Scout in Deuce Bigelow.
Oh, that's right. I did remember seeing that in the cast when I was researching this. Well, there's so many. Grandma's Boys, Benchwarmers. We could talk all day, but I don't want to keep you from your coffee.
Chick best, probably.
You say Hot Chick's the best?
Hot Chick.
That's her favorite?
She probably likes that one the best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to argue. You've got so many great appearances, but we'll let you get back to your hot coffee instead of talking the Hot Chick. So, hey, thank you so much.
Your wife, I said hi, and that's a good one to watch. You have any girls? You have any kids?
Any kids? Not yet. We're hopeful, but I will tell her you said hi for sure. She's a huge fan of the Hot Chick. And she is a
Right.
hot chick herself, if I must say so.
Well, good for you. You're not in radio for nothing.
Yeah, right, exactly. But we're here on radio to tell everybody that Rob Schneider's coming to the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia on May 27th. So get your tickets now. Thanks so much.
I'll see you out there May 27th. That's my last show, and then before I have to, I'm taking a long break after that. So I hope people enjoy it.
All right, sounds good. See you, man. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.